According to my research, 70% of hospitality business owners are relying on online travel agents such as Airbnb, Booking.com, and others for more than 55% of their bookings. I have to confess, I was a bit shocked when I found out these figures, but not totally surprised when considering that most people get into this business because they like homemaking, cooking, and looking after people. They don't get into this business because they want to become online marketers or great at technology, and you probably didn't either. But sadly, the world has changed and demands that we either resign ourselves to using online travel agents and paying their commissions forever, or we get skilled up and learn how to use the internet and online technology and the many free and low-cost tools that we have available to us and take back control. Sadly, not many owners choose the latter, but it's easier than you think, and it pays off so much more than you may imagine. And in this short training, I'm going to show you how. So you may be thinking right now that getting skilled up in the new way of doing business feels pretty daunting. And so in this short training, I'm going to lay out the key areas that you need to focus on and what you don't need to focus on. And my hope is that you'll find it much easier than you might be thinking right now. But before we begin, I'm going to take a couple of minutes to explain who I am and why this training is important for you if you want to quit relying on Airbnb and other online travel agents for the majority of your bookings. So let's go. So who on earth is Yvonne Halling anyway? So I am known as the bed and breakfast coach. I ran a B&B in the Champagne region of France for 17 years, first as a hobby and then later as a professional business. The journey wasn't an easy one. We opened in 2001 with just 2 rooms, and I ran it like a hobby while my husband was traveling with his amazing job at a little champagne company that you may have heard of called Moet and Chandon. And I was home alone with our 2 little girls, Chloe and Lucy. I opened when I wanted, and if I didn't want to welcome any guests, I didn't. And it was great. We didn't need the money. But all that changed in 2010 when, after a series of financial, professional and personal disasters, my little B&B had become our family's only source of income. And having only ever made less than 10,000 euros a year as a hobby, I knew I had to drastically change the way I was running it so we could survive. So, with the bailiffs at the door and the bank breathing down my neck, I got to work. I calculated that I needed to make 40,000 euros a year to keep our home and put food on the table for my family, and I had absolutely no clue how I would reach that goal, but I knew that I had to try. Now, bearing in mind I'd only ever made less than 10,000 euros a year, I didn't make my first goal of 40,000 euros. I actually made 51,195. And in the following year, I made 104,495 euros with just 4 rooms and no listings with any of the online travel agents whatsoever. And through a lot of trial and error, I managed to develop a formula which worked year after year for me, and since 2014 has worked for countless owners around the world that we've helped. And this formula is exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you in this training today. And by the end of our time together today, you'll have this formula as well that you can instantly put to use in your business in your way. So you can reduce your reliance on the OTAs and you can start to build a business that you and your guests love and potentially have the ability to double your revenue over the next 12 months. So now that you know a little about me and what I do, let's get started with the key elements to quitting the online travel agents and doubling your revenue. There are 4 key areas to focus on. The first key area to recognize is that the business model from which you're operating will determine your results. This is crucial because there are tons of different business models out there that you could use, but only one will allow you to release yourself from the clutches of Airbnb. Most hosts are using this model. This means that you get the bookings in from the online travel agents and you give your guests a great experience, and then you wait for the reviews to come in. And using this model, you have very little control over who's coming, who's visiting, or what they want. You may be able to call them up and talk to them after they've booked with you, but because they've probably selected your property on price, you'll be getting random guests all looking for different types of experiences. So how can you possibly fulfill their needs? The consequences of using this business model are pricing yourself in the commodity market, which we call the meat market, which usually means lower prices. You have very little control over your listings, which means you cannot position yourself as premium, which is really key. And you'll probably find yourself having to offer discounts and deals to get the bookings in, and finding yourself at the mercy of the reviews and the algorithms and all that stuff. And maybe you fear losing your status as superhost and the consequent drop off in the bookings. And sometimes disrespectful and dishonest guests who may even trash your property. You may be able to recognize these consequences yourself in the way that you're running your business at the moment. So, after using this business model for some time, many hosts are fed up with the vagaries of the Airbnb algorithms and decide to set up their own direct bookings channel with a website and social media presence. And so they often migrate to this second business model, which is, again, you've got the bookings coming in from the online travel agents, you're giving your guests a great experience to the best of your ability, and you're waiting for those reviews. But with this business model, you add your own website, and then you'll add your own social media presence as well. And you might think that, having a website yourself where people can book directly, that it would reduce your reliance on Airbnb. But unfortunately, owners using this model are still heavily reliant on online travel agents, but with the added complexity of the website and the social media. Because the problem is that having a website and social media presence doesn't in and of itself solve the problem. It adds to the complexity of the host's workload and often leaves them feeling overwhelmed and resentful. So here's the consequences of this second business model. You're still pricing yourself and positioning yourself in what we call the meat market or the commodity market, which usually means low prices. You still have very little control over the listings, which means you cannot position yourself as premium. And you're still having to offer discounts and deals to get the bookings in, and finding yourself at the mercy of the reviews and the algorithms, and still afraid of losing superhost status and the consequent drop off in your bookings. And you're still having to put up with disrespectful or dishonest guests who leave a big mess for you to clean up. Plus, you've got your increased expenses with the website creation, hosting, plus your online reservation system, channel manager, payment system, and everything that goes with having your own website. And you find yourself having to spend more time to manage the website and post on social media. All of that to say produces very little to no change in revenue or enjoyment for the owner. You can probably relate to this. I've seen this many, many times. And of course, neither of these two business models, whether you've got your website and social media or you haven't, will reduce your reliance on the online travel agents. They just won't, because they're not designed to do that. So now I want to introduce you to the business model that I developed personally for my own use in my own B&B, and the one that we use with all of our clients, which has the potential to double your revenue in the next 12 months and get you off of the online travel agents. This is the framework for the fastest and smartest way to start, run and grow what we call a direct bookings hospitality business anywhere, whether you're a B&B, whether you're self-catering, whether you've got a guest house, whether you are doing any type of hospitality whatsoever. This is the framework for the fastest and smartest way. This model was responsible for my own success, for making almost zero to making over 104,000 euros in 2 seasons with just 4 rooms and no listings with Airbnb, Booking.com or any other online travel agents. This model will do 4 things for you. It will help you to deliver a 5-star experience to your guests for more 5-star reviews. It will put you in a strong position in the market for the guests that you decide that you want to welcome, so you can charge more. It will increase the amount the guest spends with you, meaning more money with fewer guests. And it will also control the flow of direct bookings across all the seasons, so you're no longer at the mercy of outside forces or the online travel agencies. And as a bonus, it will dramatically increase your confidence. This model is that I developed for myself and have used on many clients around the world since 2014, has produced results like this. Amanda, 20 years in her B&B business, 58% increase in revenue in 1 season. Marie, 28% increase in revenue in the first year, 23% increase in the second year, and 8 record months in her first year working with us. And 2022 was her best year ever in 33 years in her B&B business. Kelty Masters tripled her revenue in 1 season. Caroline Newling Ward, bookings were up 53% over the previous year, and massive boost in marketing skills and confidence. Lynn Martin, £27,000 in bookings in less than a week. Victoria and Murray Sanderson, 77 new bookings in just a few days. All of these clients and many more had massive return on their investment of time and money, or from working with us and our team all around the world. It works anywhere. So how does this business model actually work, and how can you put it to work for you? Let's break it down. We've got 4 elements here: strategy, structure, systems, and scale. So let's break it down. Strategy, what does this mean? You need to get clear on who you want to welcome and what is the unique experience that you offer. It's time to stop taking anyone and everyone. First, we have to recognize that by listing with Airbnb, Booking.com, etc., is making you look like a cheap commodity. Even if you have a luxury property with above average amenities, you just look like everyone else on those platforms. Next, we need to develop a promise that you're going to put on your website or on your social media, or preferably both, so that you can stop being a commodity and pricing yourself alongside everybody else and being what you might think is competitive. We want to get out of the commodity market and get into the unique experience market, so that you can elevate yourself to premium as a specialist or expert on your area. So let me ask you this question: the hobbyist and the generalist. I started out as a hobbyist and then went to generalist, and then I went to specialist on my area, and then I went to expert on a specific topic of my area. Now, not everybody can go to expert on a specific topic of the area, but I promise you everybody can go to specialist. Get yourself out of the hobbyist and generalist category and get yourself into the specialist category for your property. Because let's be honest, the generalist get paid less than the specialist in every field. Think about a doctor. The GP gets paid less than the heart surgeon. So in every field, in every sector, a specialist or an expert gets paid more than a hobbyist or a generalist. And it's usually just perception. You don't have to change anything except perception of yourself and how the guests are going to see you. It's imperative that you think about this clearly, because there's very little money or fun at the bottom end of the market, scratching around for bookings, discounting, and then attracting disrespectful guests. When you're perceived as a specialist or expert, you can command higher prices, attract better quality guests who appreciate you and are prepared to pay for the premium experience you offer. Once you've established your positioning in your own mind first, you'll need to let the world know on your website and on social media. You can't do much about your listings on online travel agents, so these are usually written by algorithms and bots. But as you move confidently into your new identity, you'll be able to rely less and less on your OTA listings and more on your own marketing. Let's move on. The second element that you need to put your focus on is structure. And that's all about how you deliver on the promise you made to your guests online, on your website, and on social media. It's time to develop yourself as an exceptional host, creating wow moments for your guests so they find themselves writing 5-star reviews, but they don't know why. This means that you're running a very tight ship at your property with clear boundaries for yourself and your guests that make everyone feel secure and happy. Become aware of your guests' psychological needs and get good at diffusing their concerns and their complaints in the moment so they feel like you've got their back, you've got them covered no matter what. Everybody is looking to get their psychological needs fulfilled. The third is the systems, which is what we call the engine of your business. Systems is all about using technology to delight your guests past, present, and future in ways that no one else will be able to do, making sure that each segment of your guests, past, present, and future, is getting the appropriate information at the right time for them. So you build your own community that you can rely on into the future and whenever you need bookings. Your community consists of 3 separate types of guests: booked-in guests who've booked and not arrived yet, past guests who've booked and have stayed and have gone, and then future guests that don't yet know you. And we need to build relationships with all 3 segments of your community using technology. And the fourth element to put your focus on is scale, adding more revenue streams that light you up and add even more value for your guests without working any harder or paying any more commissions, so that you rely less on guests and more on added value, which means more money for less work. And that's it, the framework for the fastest and smartest way to start, run and grow a direct bookings hospitality business anywhere: strategy, structure, systems, and scale. This business model is the only model that has the potential for you to double your revenue in the next 12 months without you working any harder, giving away any more free stuff, or paying even more commissions to Airbnb, Booking.com, or any other online travel agent ever again. So are you ready to put this business model into your business? Then do click on the link below on this page to join us on our upcoming Double Your B&B Revenue 7-day challenge, where I'm going to take you through the steps of this business model so that you can experience what it feels like to actually have control of your business, so that you're not relying on online travel agencies forever. So click on the link below and you'll get instant access to the Facebook group where you can get started on the pre-challenge training, which is already there for you. And I will be there on Monday, September 4th to kick off the challenge with day 1. And I'll see you there. Bye for now.